worst in the nation. And our communities and our children's health continue to be threatened by bad land use decisions and industrial pollution. Fumes from an oil and gas production facility located less than 1 mile from here are blamed for causing respiratory ailments, headaches, nausea, and nosebleeds. It is no wonder we hear a lot these days about environmental justice. Irma Munoz is President and Chief Executive Officer of Mujeres de la Tierra, a community-based environmental social action organization in Los Angeles. She works with families to better their lives, enhance their neighborhoods, and strengthen their quality of life. Irma Munoz is putting the concept of environmental justice into action. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Irma Munoz.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Oh, we're bilingual. Great. First of all, Supervisor Margaret Thomas, thank you for choosing such a glorious, wonderful, sunny day to bring power and empowerment at the front of the agenda, because it's, for me, so inspiring and energizing to be in front of so many powerful individuals. So thank you so much for bringing this together. What my organization does is we inspire, teach women and their children to lead and own their issues in their neighborhood, so that their communities can be improved to better the lives of their children. Now that sounds like a very simple notion, but it isn't, because we have many other organizations that come in our two communities who already have an agenda of what's good for us, when we should get what is good for us, that determine and want to make decisions for the very people who live there. And we get invited to communities to say no. We go into communities to teach the women that they decide what's good for their children. They decide what's good for the community. They determine, they're the leaders. And what we usually find are women who are ready to lead and to own those issues. I am very proud of the work that we're constantly doing that's very challenging, and I want to tell you 2 short stories about these women. Several years ago, a number of women called me up to say, we need your help. And I said, okay. This story basically reaffirmed the notion that you cannot separate the green message of conservation with the green message of economic empowerment. The two go hand in hand. In our communities, we want to make sure that we can feed our children, pay the rent, and that life's okay at home before we go anyplace else. So these women came to me with that notion to say, we need your help. They're trying to close this foundry in our neighborhood. And 2 years ago, they closed another factory that we lost 1,000 jobs. Can you help us? So you can imagine, as an environmental organization, the dilemma. When they were talking to me, I had my head, and they could see probably this excruciating conflict of, hey, what? And this one woman gets up and says, in Spanish, Doña Irma, don't you understand that we prefer that poverty is something we don't want, and we'd rather have an odor than the poverty that will be created if this factory gets closed. Another woman got up immediately and said, why can't we have good paying jobs and clean air? Why do we always have to be put in the position of choosing one or the other? And that started our 2.5 journey to fight to keep these 400 jobs alive. What we are confidence holders. And what I have learned over the years is that women and their children have the capacity and the skills and the commitment to change what needs to be changed in their neighborhood. Many times we don't give them that credit. In our case, they speak for themselves. We are their confidence holders, and I can see vast changes. And so I want to leave a big message for each and every one of you. Don't ever overlook someone. We are not individuals who don't care of our community. There is a stereotype and perception that people of color do not like to volunteer, that we do not like to give, that we're not charitable, that we care what happens in our neighborhood. That's a stereotype and perception that I see eliminated day in and day out because of the work that I see and the commitment that we have, not just in this room, but out in those neighborhoods. And it's too bad because what happens is we're categorized as underserved, but what I see it as, we've been ignored, we've been overlooked. So throughout South LA where we work, what I'm seeing is more and more people saying, I want to speak up. I want to be part of the decision making. Don't tell me this is what we need. This is what we want for our children. And they get actively engaged. Because if they're part of the process from the very beginning, you're going to have better parks. Parks that are maintained. Facilities that are bigger and greater and are used by the local folks. So I want to say to you, get out, speak up, speak out, and create the waves and the ripples that will produce great, enormous change. And you do not need to speak Korean or Spanish to engage people because we all care about our life, our community, and our neighborhood. All you need to do is learn to listen. Thank you.